Hello, and welcome to this audiobook-style summary of Read People Like a Book by Patrick King. This isn't just a crash course in body language or facial expressions, it's a deep dive into human behavior, psychology, and what people's actions reveal beneath the surface. If you've ever wished you could see through someone's words and understand their true feelings, this book is for you. Let's begin with the foundation. Chapter 1. Why We Misread People. People rarely say what they really mean, and even less often mean what they say. Patrick King opens the book with a truth bomb. Most of us don't know how to read people because we're distracted by what they say instead of what they show. He emphasizes that words are rehearsed, actions are subconscious, real thoughts leak through behavior, not conversation. We tend to give others the benefit of the doubt, fill in emotional gaps, and assume too much. But people aren't puzzles. They're stories waiting to be understood if we pay attention. King's approach isn't to make you a manipulator, but a mindful observer. Chapter 2. The Psychology Behind Reading. People. To understand someone else, you first need to understand the why behind what people do. King introduces 3 core psychological drivers behind human behavior: desire for control, fear of rejection, need for significance. Think about it. Every gesture, every tone of voice, and every choice someone makes comes from these drivers. Whether it's arrogance or shyness, it usually stems from fear or insecurity, not confidence. Once you internalize this, you stop reacting to people and start understanding them. Chapter 3. What you should really be looking for. King warns readers not to fall for dramatic behaviors or words. Instead, train your focus on patterns. Ask yourself, is this person consistent in their values? Do their actions match their words? Are they acting out of fear or confidence? He also emphasizes emotional intelligence, not just reading people, but feeling them. You don't need to be Sherlock Holmes. You just need to observe, not assume. Chapter 4. The Power of Silence and Observation. This chapter focuses on mastering silence. Most people talk to fill the air or avoid discomfort, but silence makes people reveal themselves. King says, if you can get comfortable with silence, you'll start noticing what others are trying to hide. Pay attention to how people fidget when they avoid eye contact, when they fake a smile, how their body turns toward or away from you. All of these are more truthful than words. Chapter 5. The Face Never Lies. King teaches us that the face is the most expressive part of the body and the most deceptive. People learn to fake smiles, nods, and neutral faces. But there's a catch. The micro-expressions they can't control always betray the truth. A micro-expression is a flash of real emotion, lasting less than half a second, often before the person realizes it. They can reveal anger masked as politeness, fear hiding behind arrogance, disgust hidden by a grin. Tip from King: don't stare. Observe peripherally and train your awareness, not your judgment. Chapter 6. The Body Speaks Loudest. Next, the body. It's the billboard of emotion. Some key insights: crossed arms, defensive or self-protective, leaning in, interest or connection, feet pointed toward the exit, subconscious desire to leave fidgeting, nervousness or discomfort. King notes, the body reveals what the mouth conceals. So when someone says, I'm fine, but their shoulders sag, voice cracks, and they avoid eye contact, you know better. The secret is congruence. Do their words match their posture? Chapter 7. Listen between the lines. In this chapter, we're taught to listen not just to what is said, but how it's said. Pay attention to tone, pace, volume. Pauses. For example, a sudden drop in voice volume may indicate guilt. Rushed words can mean nervousness. Repeating phrases may signal insecurity. King encourages us to stop reacting at face value and start decoding the music behind the words. Chapter 8. Calibrating Truth from Lies. We all want to know, how can I tell when someone is lying? King says don't look for one red flag. Look for changes in baseline behavior. If someone suddenly starts blinking more, breathes faster, touches their face, gives vague answers, they may be hiding something, but don't jump to conclusions. King's rule, it's not about catching lies, it's about catching inconsistencies. Chapter 9. Cognitive Bias and Perception. A fascinating chapter. Here, King warns about our own biases. You can't read people well if you're clouded by assumptions, past experiences, stereotypes, wishful thinking. We often see what we want to see, not what's really there. King invites us to slow down, be neutral, and observe like a detective, not a critic. Chapter 10. People are emotional, not logical. Patrick King reminds us, humans are not walking logic machines. We're bundles of emotion, often trying to justify our feelings with facts after the fact. He writes, if you want to understand someone, look past their words and into the emotion they're trying to manage. For example, anger might be masking hurt, confidence could be covering insecurity, sarcasm may be hiding fear. To truly read someone, ask, what are they feeling right now? And what fear or need might be driving that? Chapter 11. The persona versus the person. We all wear masks. At work, at home, online. We show versions of ourselves that help us feel accepted. But underneath every mask is a core truth, the desire to be safe, seen, and significant. King says, don't fall for the mask. Look for what it's protecting. If someone acts cold or aloof, maybe they've been hurt. If they brag, maybe they're desperate for approval. When you realize people are often protecting pain, not projecting pride, you start reading them with empathy, not judgment. Chapter 12. Emotional Echoes. Have you ever noticed how one person's mood changes a whole room? That's what King calls emotional echoes. We unconsciously mirror the emotional state of people around us. So if someone is angry, nervous, or joyful, we often feel it too. This chapter teaches you to spot emotional contagion, who in the room holds emotional power, who others naturally follow or mirror. This insight is huge if you want to understand group dynamics or read subtle emotional shifts in real time. Chapter 13. Spotting Manipulation and Emotional Leverage. Not everyone reveals their emotions to connect. Some do it to control. King explores signs of emotional manipulation, over-apologizing to disarm you, using guilt to guide your actions, creating urgency to cloud your logic, telling half-truths to test your boundaries. He encourages us to always ask, what outcome does this person seem to be steering me toward? When someone repeatedly pulls on your emotions for their benefit, it's not connection, it's control. Chapter 14. How to read people in conversations. King teaches us that most people aren't really listening, they're waiting to speak. But great observers are also great listeners. Here's what to notice in conversations. When someone deflects questions they don't want to answer, when they redirect blame or change the topic, when they talk in vague generalities instead of specifics, he advises, the more someone wants to hide something, the more they'll tell you, by trying not to. Listen for what's missing as much as what's present. Chapter 15. Reading in Dating and Relationships. In romantic settings, people tend to wear thicker masks because the stakes are emotional vulnerability. Here's what to look for. Consistency. Do their actions match their affection? Intentionality. Are they present or just performing? Emotional honesty. Do they express needs or bury them? King suggests asking this silently during interactions. Is this person showing me who they are or who they want me to think they are? Spotting early red flags isn't about paranoia. It's about protecting peace. Chapter 16. Reading in Professional Environments. In the workplace, status and control shape a lot of behavior. Look for who dominates conversations, who subtly undermines others, who changes behavior depending on who's in the room. King teaches how power dynamics play out in tone, interruptions, posture, and pacing. Pay close attention to meetings or negotiations. Often, body language says, I don't agree, before the words ever come out. Chapter 17. Spotting Emotional Triggers in Others. Everyone has buttons, some buried, some exposed. To read someone deeply, learn their emotional triggers. What makes them withdraw? What sparks anger or silence? What makes them light up? King teaches that once you understand a person's triggers, you understand their story, what they've endured, feared, and hoped for. This is where true empathy begins. Chapter 18. The Danger of Overreading. Finally, King gives a caution. Don't overanalyze. Reading people isn't about becoming paranoid or trying to dissect every eye twitch or foot tap. It's about being present, aware, and kind. Use these tools not to control others, but to understand and connect. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is sit with someone, say nothing, and just listen. Chapter 19. Mastering Self-Awareness. Before you can accurately observe others, you have to observe yourself. Why? Because your own emotions, fears, and assumptions can cloud your perception. King gives examples. If you're anxious, you may see others as hostile. If you crave approval, you may misread flattery as friendship. If you're angry, you may read neutrality as rejection. The cure is introspection. King encourages practices like journaling mindful silence, asking yourself, what am I feeling and why? The more honest you are with yourself, the clearer others become. Chapter 20. Strengthening Emotional Intelligence. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is the ability to recognize your own emotions, understand others' feelings, respond with empathy and wisdom. It's not about being soft. It's about being aware without being reactive. King suggests, when someone triggers you, pause, don't react. Ask, what's happening in me? What might be happening in them? This slows your judgments and opens up understanding. Reading people is more than noticing, it's nurturing clarity. Chapter 21. Training your observational muscle. Observation is a skill, not a gift. King gives powerful exercises to sharpen this. People watching in public. Train your eyes to see posture, movement, and micro-expressions. Silent conversations. Try to guess someone's mood without speaking, then confirm if you can. Pattern logging. After interactions, write what you noticed, how they acted, and what you missed. Over time, your intuition becomes accurate, not mystical, but trained. Chapter 22. Intuition is data. King redefines intuition. It's not magic, it's the brain's ability to spot patterns quickly. But we often ignore it because it whispers, not shouts. If your gut tells you this person isn't being real, something feels off in their tone. I've seen this behavior before. Trust it. But verify it too. King's golden rule, let intuition speak, but always double-check with evidence. Chapter 23. Setting Healthy Boundaries. Sometimes, reading people reveals what we didn't want to know, like manipulation, dishonesty, or toxicity. This is where boundaries come in. Reading people is useful not just for understanding, but for protecting. King's advice, you don't owe access to everyone you understand. Compassion doesn't mean staying close to chaos. Awareness should lead to action, not just insight. Boundaries are a gift, to others and yourself. Chapter 24. How Trust is Built and Broken. King begins by explaining a powerful truth. Trust is built in small moments, consistency over time. It's not about grand gestures, it's about showing up when you say you will, listening without interruption, keeping private what's shared in confidence, following through on promises. But trust can be broken instantly, especially when people lie, even small lies. You feel emotionally dismissed. Someone shows a pattern of self-interest over care. To read trustworthiness, don't just look at words, look at patterns. Chapter 25. Reading Intentions. Early, people may say one thing but intend another. King teaches that the best readers ask, what does this person want right now? How do their actions align with that? Is there a deeper motivation behind their surface words? Example. If someone praises you constantly but competes with you behind the scenes, what's their real intent? Look for alignment between words, actions, patterns over time. If something doesn't add up, trust the math, not the performance. Chapter 26. Communication Styles. Reveal Beliefs. Every person has a default communication style. This gives clues to how they view themselves, view others, handle conflict and connection. For example, someone who interrupts constantly might fear being unheard. Someone who avoids hard topics might associate vulnerability with danger. Someone who asks more than they talk may crave validation or carry past shame. These are not faults, they're windows. They help you read not just what someone is saying, but why they speak that way. Chapter 27. Reflective Listening. Want to build trust? Learn to mirror emotions, not just repeat words. This is called reflective listening, and it's powerful. Instead of saying, "I understand, try," "That sounds really hard. You must have felt exhausted after that." By reflecting emotion, you tell the person, "You're not just heard, you're felt." And that, King says, is how trust blossoms. Chapter 28. Setting Relationship Boundaries with Insight. Now that you've learned to read people, you may notice things that feel off or unhealthy. King reminds us, insight without action is useless. Sometimes reading people leads to letting go, not leaning in. Your peace is not worth staying connected to chaos. You can love someone and still protect your heart. You can forgive someone and still walk away. You've arrived at part 7, the final part of Read People Like a Book. Over the past 90 minutes, you've developed the skills of observation, interpretation, emotional insight, and communication. Now, Patrick King helps us bring it all together to make people reading not just a skill, but a way of living and leading with clarity. Chapter 29. Connect the dots. From behavior to belief. At the heart of King's method is this truth. People's behavior is a reflection of their beliefs about themselves, about others, and about the world. When someone avoids eye contact, they may believe they're unworthy. When they interrupt constantly, they may fear being invisible. When they dominate a room, they may believe control is safety. What you're reading isn't just behavior, it's unspoken belief systems. To go deeper, ask what belief a behavior supports, then respond with clarity, not confusion. Chapter 30. Pattern recognition is people mastery. Reading one moment in isolation means little, but noticing patterns, the themes, rhythms, and habits someone repeats, is how you master people reading. Examples of patterns: emotional patterns, they withdraw whenever vulnerable topics arise; relational patterns, they sabotage closeness but chase approval; conflict patterns, they escalate minor issues to feel in control. Once you spot patterns, you're no longer reacting, you're predicting. And with prediction comes power and peace. Chapter 31, Observation plus Compassion, Wisdom. Patrick King offers a final equation: observation plus compassion, wisdom. Reading people well doesn't mean becoming cold, manipulative, or overly analytical. It means seeing deeper, so you can love wiser. He writes, "Observe like a scientist, feel like a friend, respond like someone who's healed. Reading people is not a weapon. It's a mirror, a window, and a light." Chapter 32. Read yourself like a book. King's closing message is humbling. Before you read anyone else, read yourself. When you understand your own fears, motives, and patterns, you stop projecting them onto others. You begin to see people not as threats or saviors, but simply as human beings, doing the best they can with what they have. Self-knowledge makes people reading honest, not harmful. It brings maturity, peace, and deep confidence. Final reflections. You now hold a powerful gift. You can observe behavior with precision. You can sense emotion beneath words. You can anticipate reactions and respond wisely. And most of all, you can build deeper, richer, more real connections. Whether you're a leader, a parent, a friend, or a seeker, this journey equips you to understand people better than most ever will. Use it with care. Use it with love. This concludes your audiobook summary of Read People Like a Book by Patrick King. We hope you enjoyed this voiceover journey from Echoes in Audiobooks. If this summary moved you, helped you, or inspired you, please share it with someone else who values growth, understanding, and emotional clarity. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and above all, keep showing up with compassion.